Good evening, Seminoles. Happy Earth Day and happy Monday. And welcome to FSU Weather. I am your student meteorologist, Daniela Streety. And right now, live look at Doak. We are very sunny today. 73 right now, mostly sunny. We have some winds coming from the north-northeast at 9 miles per hour after we had a front come in yesterday, which is why we've had this wonderful weather coming in today. And as we see our current temperatures right now, we're pretty comfortable as we see 72 in Apalachicola, 74 in Crawfordville, even 68 in Thomasville. So definitely see those mild springtime temperatures coming in. That is quite amazing. And our dew points are a lot drier than we have had experienced in the last several days. Right now it's 41 in Tallahassee for our dew points, even 39 and 38 below me in Apalachicola and towards the coast. Definitely a lot of that drier, cooler weather coming in. And right now our local radar is pretty clear. So as we see some ground clutter coming in, but nothing to be too concerned about. But headlines tonight, we have Earth Day and the last week of shows. We get to look forward to that and our future endeavors of forecasters. So stay tuned on FSU Weather.
Monday edition of the 2023-2024 year. I'm Robert Zott.
I'm Aaron Saray.
And we've got quite a lot in our show tonight. Starting off, we have a career desk. We're going to look at some careers in meteorology. That's going to be quite educational for all of our viewers.
That's right. We'll talk about operational as well as research and broadcast meteorology, exactly what and kind of entails of all that, and also how they kind of relate to one another.
Right, exactly. And that's really informative because there's a lot of ways you can go in meteorology. This is one of them, broadcast, but you could also go out into the research field, many other opportunities there. We also have Earth Day coverage. We're going to be talking a lot about that. It's really important for the environment here. It's going to be very helpful for us to know about how we can celebrate Earth Day, how we can really have that practical use of that day.
That's right. How are you going to celebrate Earth Day today?
Well,
or how did you celebrate Earth Day today?
Well, I celebrate Earth Day by recycling some products and just trying to make my mark on this earth. What about you? I did
something pretty similar too. I also, I took trash I saw from the grass and I put it in the recycling bin, and I felt pretty accomplished with that. So definitely a really good feeling here on Earth Day. But Daniela, tell us a little bit more about what's going outside right now at Doak.
Thanks, Aaron. So yeah, right now a live look at Doak. We're very clear, beautiful blue skies right now. Previously said we're 73 degrees and mostly sunny with those north-northeast winds coming from the north as we have that front coming in. So we have those northerly winds coming and bringing in that cool, dry air. And we definitely see that in our temperature almanac, as this morning we had a low of 53 and a high of 74 today. So we're pretty much below average, but nothing too extreme. It's fairly seasonal temperatures that we're experiencing right now. And like I said, our current temperatures are mainly mild in the upper 60s and 70s. We see 68 in Thomasville, 70 in Quincy, 74 in Crawfordville, and 72 in Apalachicola right now. And as we go into our current dew points, we are seeing a lot of drier air as we have 39 in Apalachicola as a dew point, 38 in Sumatra. We even have 52 in Monticello as a little more moisture air. But pretty much this says that the more farther away that these dew points are from our current temperatures, the drier air that we have, and for the more pleasant it is outside, and we get to enjoy laying outside in the sun and so forth. So going to current local radar, we do see a lot of ground clutter. We have possibly some smoke coming in from some prescribed burns towards the coast, as we see in the Apalachicola National Forest. But so far so good. We have a clear radar. We're nothing to worry about. It's beautiful weather to enjoy, beautiful time to be outside, especially right now to study. And as we go into our 24-hour future satellite, we will see a lot of that same trend of very clear weather and a lot of nothing, which is great for us. We finally get a break after we had a much wetter start to this April and hotter start. So we really need to enjoy these cooler temperatures right now as we move on into the week. Tomorrow morning for Cats and Coffee, it's a perfect time to have coffee with your feline friend. And as I will have a low of 50 tomorrow morning, sunny, perfect time for cuddles and coffee. Honestly, it's just the most beautiful time. You can go outside and cuddle with your coffee. You can stay inside, bundle up in a blanket with your coffee. Whichever makes you feel better, you can honestly go do it, because it will be the perfect day to do whatever you want tomorrow. And going into the night, if you're studying late at Dirac or Stroger, it's going to be clear, low of 48. We're going to dip down to the 40s tonight. Possibly one of the last times we may see this for several months, and we'll have some northeast winds at 4 miles per hour, so not too breezy, but make sure to bring a coat tonight if you're going to be out. And as we go into our Tuesday planner, with no rain in the forecast, and we will have some gradual cooling throughout the day. We're going to have a high of 78. So as we see those winds or those temperatures going up into tomorrow, we will see a gradual warming going to the week, but pretty much start your morning off with a coat and move on to take off those layers as you go in further in the day. But as we go into 7-week forecast, we have beautiful temperatures, some gradual warming, and a lot of pleasant time you can spend outside before these final exams. So Aaron, tell us about Florida.
That's right. Well, we'll expect much of the same kind of weather over the course of the week as well, with much of the Florida cities here. But right now, we'll kind of take a look at our cameras across the Sunshine State, or I should say Sunshine State for most of the state here, because Jacksonville, Destin, Tampa, all sitting pretty sunny outside here in the 60s and the 70s. Miami Beach is the lone exception, where they're at 80 degrees and under cloudy conditions. But overall, not a bad day here, at least to end the day across the Sunshine State. Now, at least temperature-wise here, 75 Tampa, 74 Orlando. A little bit cooler as you make your way off towards the I-10 corridor here. 73 in Tallahassee, 71 in Pensacola. And again, the warmer spot being in South Florida, specifically in Key West, where they're at 81 degrees with more clouds there mixed in with that sunshine. And then our current dew points are also feeling pretty dry, at least especially if you're along the Panhandle and the Big Bend regions of Florida. Definitely a different story here. So we definitely have different seasons here across the state, with summer-like conditions here across South and Southeast Florida, and then more winter-like, or at least more spring-like across at least North Florida into the western portions of Florida near Pensacola. So we kind of have all three, or I should say all 4 seasons here across Florida. Now for our satellite and radar here, we are sitting pretty dry across about I-4 northward towards Tallahassee and Pensacola. And then southward we have the clouds more in place, we have the showers and the storms. However, it looks like most of them are starting to move offshore off of Miami here. Here's a camera, or I should say, with the clouds in the background, but it does show we do eventually begin that kind of more sunny trend as we have the front eventually clearing out of South Florida, with those 80s here to kind of dot the forecast, at least for the highs, and then upper 60s for the lows. Tampa, Florida, pretty similar story here, with the sunshine continuing at least throughout the next few days or so, with Tuesday 82, and gradually warming up into the middle to upper 80s. So definitely summer is approaching. That's kind of a telltale here, with the temperatures definitely rising up, and then those also those warmer, I should say, warmer low temperatures also coming up here too, at least over the course of the week. And then lastly, Panama City Beach, Florida here, where the sun is still ample outside. We expect the sunshine conditions to continue the rest, at least much of this upcoming week, with upward low to mid 70s across much of the rest of the week, and then 50s into the 60s. But I was just kidding. We do actually have Pensacola next here as our last city in Florida, where we have, again, the sunshine continuing, pretty much a copy and paste of Panama City Beach here. Sunshine continuing through Tuesday through Thursday. As we get to at least to tonight's forecast across Florida, should be really nice. Tomorrow should also feature those temperatures kind of at least approaching 80 degrees across much of the state, but overall, not too shabby, Roberts. How is the Southeast looking like right now?
Right, Aaron. Sunshine in the Sunshine State. And we're also seeing a lot of sunshine across most of the Southeast here, seeing from Charlotte to Richmond and Tampa, New Orleans, all a lot of sun across the region, and sitting fairly nice outside today in the 60s in Charlotte and Richmond, and 69 in New Orleans, 75, a little warmer in Tampa in Florida. But overall, still a really nice day for getting towards this late April, early May time period. Really nice for us here, and we'll take it for sure before we get into these 80s and 90s that we're watching that we could see in the future. For our current conditions across most of the Southeast, we already went through Florida, sitting in the 70s and possibly getting closer to the mid-70s there. 70s for most of the central and western Southeast, but as you get closer towards the Carolinas and parts of Tennessee and the Appalachians, we could see even as low as the low to mid-60s, maybe even some upper 50s there in the actual Appalachian Mountains there for our current conditions. For the radar, staying mostly clear for most of us across the region. We do see a few showers and thunderstorms across the South Florida area now starting to move off the coast here, possibly a few showers on the coast of the Carolinas, but overall not too much for us in the way of storms today. We do still have that marginal risk and effect for much of southern Florida for day one, but given a lot of those storms moving off the coast, we're going to have that risk decrease as those storms chances decrease throughout the day, and then maybe a few showers and other storms across southwestern Florida, but not much for us on day one. For day two, we are starting to see another system start to creep in on Monday, or in the future as we get towards that period on Tuesday, We see Little Rock now under a general thunderstorm risk, so not looking for severe weather at that point, but just a few showers and thunderstorms. Looking off towards the future a little bit, you do see in Texas could have a little bit of a marginal risk of severe weather there, but not quite in the southeast yet. Day three, pretty much the same. Some showers and thunderstorms starting to increase into the areas in Louisiana and Mississippi. And here's your futurecast as we get into the Tuesday time period. Seeing some of that shower coverage starting to get into the Carolinas there and into Arkansas as we're getting into that Wednesday, possibly Wednesday morning time period, but most across the southeast still clear and getting into sunny conditions as we get later into the day there. Stepping a little further in the future, a few of these showers and thunderstorms could be a little strong later into the day on Wednesday and possibly into the day on Thursday, so that'll be something to watch out for those of you in Louisiana and Mississippi. For tonight's forecast across the southeast, seeing a lot of 50s and 40s, so a fairly nice night. Again, we're having 40s as late April now in the southeast, something we'll definitely take compared to later conditions as we get into the summer. 42 in Montgomery, 51 in Little Rock, 55 in New Orleans, and then of course you do warm up as you get towards Florida. 59 in Orlando, and then 72 all the way in Miami. So you do see that really big contrast of nightly temperatures as we get tonight, and then 42 in Charlotte and 46 in Charleston. For tomorrow, we're seeing highs across the region in the 70s, possibly peaking a little bit into the 80s there for most across the southeast. And then we do see again 73 in Charlotte, 79 in Tallahassee, and then up to 80 in Miami. So a little toasty. So now we're going to pass things off to the career desk with Aaron and Danielle. We're going to talk a little bit about careers in meteorology.
That's right. Thank you, Robert. Of course, since we're here at FSU, a lot of the things, at least in the back of our head, is exactly what do we want to do in meteorology? And of course, graduation is coming up here pretty soon, so we'll go ahead and talk more about that. But who's this guy here? I don't know who this guy is. I've never met him before. I've seen him on TV a couple of times, but I don't know who he is.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard his name is Evan.
Evan, yeah,
Evan?
I don't recall him. Yeah.
That's about all I know, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, but anyways, broadcasting is an option.
Yes.
Definitely can go into that. Of course, that's what we're doing here, right?
Yeah, of course. Broadcasting is definitely a good option. It's probably one of the most common options that people know. I know me growing up, I'm one of the few exceptions where someone said, you know, I liked meteorology, and like, oh, so you want to be on TV? And I said, yes, I do. And that's not the case for most people going into meteorology, ironically. But it is a great route. It especially works on communication. It is the forefront of meteorology. It's who you see and know and trust most of the time. However, let's not take that away from the other meteorologists in the field. So Aaron, you want to talk to us more about operational and research?
That's right. So kind of the big bear in the room, so to speak, at least where a lot of meteorologists like to go to, or at least a lot of folks out in the public as well kind of know for operational meteorology, is the National Weather Service. They're the folks who tend to be behind the scenes, looking at perhaps radar for any kind of severe weather events that might be occurring, issuing those alerts and those advisories, making sure they keep you all safe. But as Danielle was mentioning, of course, we all work together as well. So we tend to provide a lot of the, at least in the operational sector, a lot of the times the data and a lot of the resources, the observations to the broadcast to kind of take it out in the public. So National Weather Service is a really good option, actually, at least for the operational route. For research as well is also great too, especially that we're in the university. We want to advance the course of science in terms of where the future, lies for meteorology. And at least from that kind of helps filter into the operational part and then also the broadcasting route to really make sure we give you guys the best heads up on the severe weather that could be occurring. But again, these are all related in somehow to one another. And a lot of times you actually see a lot of overlap between research, a lot of folks who are in research and maybe want to go into broadcasting or vice versa. So.
Yeah. No, you definitely see it out there. It's definitely not uncommon. I mean, I've never personally been interested in the operational route, but definitely research I have considered as well as meteorology. I mean, I think it's a good thing that comes together, especially because of meteorology. You're still affiliated with journalism in a sense, so you still have to have that writing and analytical look at science. So it's definitely a great thing to look into, but it's for sure amazing. And it's also great how we all come together as one and how really people behind the scenes and not necessarily in broadcast are really the ones doing the most of the work and all the hard stuff in the behind the scenes. But we're going to get back to Robert and tell us about the national.
Right, thanks Danielle and Aaron. Of course, forecasting, something that we're bringing to you today in the form of this broadcast to show you what the weather is going to be outside. So right now, current temperatures across the nation sitting nice and warm in Dallas at 70 degrees, and Lincoln, Nebraska also sitting around 70 degrees. For the rest of the nation, sitting in the 60s and 70s for most. Nice weather in Los Angeles, a little cloudy but 61, though it is pretty warm in southwestern Arizona, getting down to the 50s in Billings. And then, of course, as we get towards the northeast region as well, 52 in Boston for you at this 6 p.m. time on Monday. For those dew points, we do, as you generally see this time of year, a drier west, a little bit wetter east, but overall for the East Coast, these are low dew points for this time of year, so pretty dry air filtering in, particularly Tallahassee down to 40, 41 in Atlanta, 28 in Boston. These are things that you like to see because you have nicer temperatures and also drier air outside, really taking advantage of this, what we see here, compared to what we might see in the next few weeks. So take advantage while you can to go outside of this nice weather. What we're seeing this dry air here on the water vapor, you're looking for these brown and black colors for drier air, and a little bit more moist air is going to be your blues and whites. So we do have a low system up here in Canada, and it's having a lot of this moisture with it, so we do see a chance for a little showers and thunderstorms with this system. But for us here in Tallahassee, for the southeast, and even across much of the Atlantic seaboard, seeing a lot of that drier air filtering in and making these conditions feel really nice for us as we get onto this time period on later in the day on Monday. For your storm outlook, it really does align with that area of a lot of that water vapor, showing this area of general thunderstorms. When we say general thunderstorms, we mean thunderstorms, but not really looking for severe weather, possibly some small hail, a few gusty winds, maybe a few claps of thunder, but not really looking for any tornadic or large hail or damaging winds risk with any of these storms here for day one. So here in the Central Plains and the Northern Plains as well, parts in Nevada and Carolina, or California, excuse me, I went for the wrong sea state, and then parts for Texas as well, including the Big Bend region and also South Texas. So a few areas of isolated general thunder for us on day one. As we get into day two, we're seeing some more general thunder across the general central United States, but also some patches of some marginal risks here, one in northern Texas and also one in Michigan here. So for marginal risk, again, not a lot of severe weather, possibly some hail that could be on the larger size, some gusty damaging winds, and maybe an isolated tornado or two with those kind of risks, but low end severe is where we're talking for these, nothing severe outbreak wise for these areas. On day two, excuse me. For day three, some more general thunder for a lot of the Central Plains and getting into the Intermountain West here towards Salt Lake City and Denver. West of Dallas and including parts of Oklahoma City, we do have that marginal risk as well. So again, some possible isolated severe with that as we get into the Wednesday time period. For your active alerts right now, not a lot in the way of severe weather. We do see some red flag warnings, one in Michigan and one for the Northern Plains, and then some near Denver as well. What these mean is essentially it's high fire danger conditions, drier weather, along with some gustier winds, possibly some warmer temperatures, giving you that potential for some high fire danger. So if you're in those areas, make sure you are taking that seriously and you are not at all going to burn outside. So for your look for tomorrow, for your temperatures on Tuesday, it's going to be fairly nice across most of the U.S., though Texas is starting to get into the 80s, seeing 80 in Dallas-Fort Worth, possibly even warmer west in Lubbock and El Paso. For most across the rest of the region, it's going to stay in the 70s and 60s, 60 in Minneapolis, 70 in Seattle, and 61 in Los Angeles. But we're going to take things a little closer to home with Aaron.
That's right. We'll take things back here towards the beautiful city of Tallahassee, Florida here with a live look outside of EOAS, the Earth, Ocean, Atmospheric Science Department here across, at least at FSU. Looking really nice outside with those blue skies, not even a cloud in the sky. So really nice time to go outside, prep for a walk or a bike ride. 71 degrees under mostly sunny skies, winds out of the north-northeast at 11. So really nice time here if you're headed outside right now in Tallahassee. Now for temperature almanac, we did reach 74 degrees, which is a good 8 degrees below our typical average high of 82. So definitely really nice time outside, especially as we kind of inch towards the summer season here. And we all know how that might be, of course, with the temperatures upwards of near 90 degrees, if not more than that. We actually start off from a low of 53, which is actually about 3 degrees lower than our typical low of 56. These will both, unfortunately, at least for me, unfortunately, will rise up throughout the upcoming week or so as we have eventually the warming trend coming to the area. Now for current temperatures right now, 71 in Tallahassee, 72 in Apalachicola, and 68 in Thomasville. So pretty uniform throughout much of the tri-state area with Again, temperatures really staying within that upper 60s to near low 70s. And then for our current dew points, also, as Robert pointed out, really dry outside with those 30s and 40s across the entire region. 150 here in Perry. But overall, really dry here as we have that really nice winter-ish, more spring-like air mass in place. Now for our current wind directions, most winds here out of the northeast with that change after the air mass. Of course, a cold front came through from the north, and that eventually did bring the more northerly winds across here, kind of helping reinforce that cooler air into the area. And you can actually kind of tell, one cool thing, you can actually kind of tell like the wind direction you're just off of radar, as we have these little prescribed burns off near Wakulla and over to Franklin counties kind of burning offshore like that. You can kind of tell, which way the direction is coming from. Just a little factoid there. Now for our future satellite and radar, we should expect to remain pretty dry across much of the Big Bend. That should continue at least through upcoming Tuesday and eventually into Wednesday. Should stay really high and dry across the Big Bend. Now, if you're going to go out to Landis, perhaps to start on that studding right now, 74 degrees under sunny conditions, northeast winds at 10 miles per hour. And then overnight tonight, actually might need a light jacket if you're heading out the door, especially by early tomorrow morning, where we're supposed to be at 48 degrees and almost May. So definitely enjoy it while it lasts before we have the warmer summer-like conditions approaching our region. Again, partly cloudy skies, winds out 8 miles an hour out of the north, generally speaking. Our day planner for tomorrow, so again, we'll start off in the upper 40s, still near low 50s. We'll eventually rise upwards to the upper 70s, so you might have your light jacket to begin with, but make sure you might need to take it off as you get towards the evening hours, where we're going to be again in the upper 70s to near 80 degrees. So just kind of shows you how our days change here across Florida, how drastic they can be. Now, at least those temperatures should begin to rise up into the middle 80s by the time we get into the middle of the week there. But Daniela, how is the lifestyle looking across the state?
Thank you, Aaron. So yeah, let's take a look throughout Tallahassee right now, mainly FSU campus right now. We see Doak Campbell Stadium. We have a lot of sun, and then at the res, we have those clear blue skies. Really just blue skies everywhere, whole entire region. It's all honestly just beautiful. A great day, like to be a Monday, honestly. I know that those gloomy Sundays are not the best days, and so having those sunny, cool Mondays are definitely really helpful to start the week, especially last week of classes. But as we go into our Earth Day Festival, that will be on South Adams Street, we're looking at pretty great temperatures. I'm pretty sure today a lot of people who went out and enjoyed that had a great time. We had around a mid to upper 70s today, so it was pretty clear. Not too much clouds, I would say. It's pretty much been clear all day. It's been really nice. And one thing to look forward to tomorrow is baseball against University of North Florida. And we should have great conditions then. It'll be cloudy and 75. And that game will be at 6 p.m. tomorrow at Dick Hauser Stadium. So make sure to go out and support your Noles, take a study break, and go out to the baseball game and watch some amazing playmaking go on as we go towards the end of the season. And for tonight's forecast, whether you are studying late or de-stressing for exams, it's a great time to be outside. Enjoy those outdoors. Make sure to bring a light jacket or a hoodie, whatever makes you feel the warmest. But we will be seeing those mid to upper 60s and lower 50s going into the later parts of tonight if you're still awake. Hopefully you don't have an 8 a.m. if you're up that late. But as we go into our dog walking forecast for tomorrow morning, if you're an early riser, it'd be a great time to take your dog out to walk at any of these times, really. As we see 7 a.m. we'll have upper 40s, and as we go into 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. we'll have 50s and 60s and clear skies to look forward to. So that is some amazing stuff there. Make sure to just bring out your furry friend, maybe go play fetch for a little longer than you usually would if you have the extra time to do so. It is honestly a great time to enjoy this spring weather. And as we're going into the beach cam, just a little south of us at Shell Point, we do see it's the closest beach that we have here from Tallahassee. It is beautiful, mostly sunny and 73. We have some southern winds coming from the Gulf at 6 miles per hour, but nothing too crazy. It's pretty chill. There's still some daylight out. It's about a 45-minute drive from here, so if you want to go and watch sunset on Shell Point Beach, then have at it. It's a great time to go do so. And as we go into our stargazing forecast tonight, it would be a great night if you want to sacrifice some sleep to watch the stars tonight. We have an 8% waxing crescent, and our viewing conditions are pretty fair, pretty amazing. Sunset is at 8:10, so we definitely see that summer trend going on as we see those later sunsets happening with sunrise at 7:02 tomorrow morning. So definitely have some time to do some stargazing if you have a telescope or have a friend who has a telescope, it'd be awesome to see stuff like that. Going through airport delays, we have no delays right now. We're pretty clear, and that trend is throughout most of the country. We're looking pretty good, nice and dry and sunny. And tomorrow's pool forecast might be a little too cold to get in the pool water, but definitely a great day to go tanning. Just remember to wear a hat and wear that sunscreen and those sunglasses, and you will be good to go. It's a beautiful day. As we go into the countdown, we have 4 more days until our senior show, and 7 days until our finals week, and 11 days until graduation. I know those seniors are really excited about that. Still got a couple more years, but I know my time's coming up soon. So as we move on into the weekday forecast, we do see a lot of those warming trends again going up. We're nearing to the upper 80s, but we will be seeing those clear skies and a gradual warming, and a great time to enjoy the spring weather this week. And as we move on to Robert, our local close.
Right, Danielle, we're going to take things again back closer to home. I know, as Danielle was saying, it's getting time for the seniors. I've been here for 4 years, and you probably see me drop in and out a few times here, and now it's getting towards that time. I'm about to have to leave here in a few days. It's a little sentimental. But right now, our live look at Doak, always the most beautiful stadium in the world. Sun shining over it, currently 73 degrees, mostly sunny, winds from the north-northeast at 9 miles per hour. So a very nice day here in Tallahassee. We can't belabor the point enough. Very, very nice. Just enjoy this while you can. A few prescribed burns, as Aaron very keenly pointed out earlier on our local radar here in the Apalachicola National Forest. You can kind of see them look like showers on here, but it's because those clouds are coming from that fire. That's why they show those on radar from those prescribed burns. But nothing else are watching on the way of storms at the moment. For the next 24 hours, it is about as clear as you can get. Possibly a few clouds sneaking into our eastern zones, but aside from that, as we go into this Tuesday at 6 p.m., going to be still fairly clear outside and fairly nice for that radar. For our current temperatures, sitting with the 70s in the south and getting a little cooler in the north towards 68 in Thomasville, 70 in Valdosta, and 70 in Bainbridge. 73 in St. Marks, 74 in Crawfordville, and 72 in Apalachicola. You take the difference of your north and south right here in Tallahassee at 71. You can see a nice little, very small contrast of temperatures there at right now. For our dew points, though, everyone pretty much sitting in what we consider dry conditions in Florida, sitting in the 50s in Perry, but all the way down to 39 in Sumatra. But this is only relatively dry. You compare this to places like Albuquerque, New Mexico, which regularly sees dew points in the single digits, and this is very moist for them. So here in Florida, we would consider this on the drier side. For tonight's forecast, it's going to be sitting in the 50s and 40s, 49 in Thomasville, 49 in Monticello, 50 in Tallahassee, and then you do get a little warmer as you get closer towards the coast in Apalachicola and Carabel, both sitting at 57 degrees for your nightly lows. For your highs tomorrow, it's going to be in the 70s as well, 79 in Perry, 75 in St. Marks, and then you do get a little warmer in places like Monticello and 78 in Madison, all the way up to 79, possibly could get up to 80 in Valdosta and Madison tomorrow, so we'll have to watch out for that. But compared to when we were in the 90s previously, 70s, possibly 80s, a lot nicer for us here in Tallahassee. Before our pollen report, we did see conditions high for your grass, low for your weeds and trees. So overall, it was going to be on the higher side. If you are having to deal with that pollen, make sure you are taking some of those ailments and some of those medicines that could help you with that. What to wear for your tomorrow forecast, 74 degrees, so all you need, shirt, shorts, and hats. So it's going to be a very beautiful day outside. And closing things off here, with your 7-day forecast, small chances of showers, thunderstorms all the way through the 7-day, aside from tomorrow. But overall, look at these temperatures, sitting in the 80s for most of our highs and possibly a cloud or two in the sky getting on a Saturday and Sunday, but 79 tomorrow for your high. So really, that's nice conditions here in Tallahassee and nice conditions for us to hand things off to the desk for what it will be a special announcement between Caitlin and Sloan.
Yeah, thank you so much, Robert. I think a common theme with today's show has been talking about the future, what we're all going to do when we graduate, but Sloan over here is not going to graduate. So I do graduate in 2 weeks. And that means I can no longer be the Monday team leader. So you probably have never seen me on air because I do a lot of stuff in the background. But I have been running Mondays if we have a show. Sometimes we don't. It's the iffier week for sure, or it's the iffier day of the week for sure. But she's going to take it on and she's going to be really strong. She's really excited about that.
Yes, I'm super excited. Caitlin did an amazing job every single Monday with the shows. We definitely have big shoes to fill, but I'm super excited to take on the challenge. Any words of wisdom?
I would just say to keep it calm and to keep it basic, because I've always done that for Mondays, and it's just a nice way to start the week. Like, you are the person who's starting the FSU
Yeah.
Weather Week. Like, all the team leaders are going to look at what you're posting and like how you set up your show, and it's just kind of that like send off for everyone for the week. So just keep that in mind, because
Okay.
you are the person that's going to start it.
Got it. I'm super excited. Make sure to tune in to all the Monday shows next year, and I can't wait to take it on.
And it's a big moment because I'm no longer the team lead, so I passed it off to you.
Thank you so much, Caitlin.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
she's
Thank you.
officially the Monday team lead at FSU
Yay.
Weather. Yeah, it's really exciting.
Yay.
But like all shows, they have to come to an end, and we're going to give you some of the socials now. But you can follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/FSU Weather. And you can also,
Make sure to like us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/FSU Weather.
yeah. You can also watch us on YouTube, which you're doing right now. We're going to continue doing that next semester at youtube.com/FSU Weather.
Also, make sure to follow us on Instagram at FSU Weather.
For some behind the scenes.
Yes.
Yeah, so we're signing off for the last time. I'm student meteorologist Caitlin McKinney.
And I'm student meteorologist Sloan Delaney.
Have a great rest of your week.